let's jump into the show. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is a little bit of Q&A, because it seems like a lot of people have some questions about what went down on Wednesday night, when pretty much I sat down and I made a few notes, and because I didn't know what to say, I just said everything. Do you have any questions?
Not majorly, to be completely honest.
All right.
One thing I would note right now is that if we don't actually have to really have a super normal show, but if we want to, we're probably gonna have to cap this at some point, because people will ask questions forever.
We will, and they'll ask super dumb ones, so we're gonna ignore all of those ones. Okay. Like, no offense, it's just
maybe
like,
that's why he's retiring. Okay?
Time is limited.
Come on.
Time is limited. So, okay, if you've got nothing, there's a couple things I wanted to address right away. One of them is that, honestly, that video is the most uncomfortable I have felt about publishing a video ever. I actually sat there for about 20 minutes, just like rechecking things that I already knew were as good as they were going to be, because I was shooting on just like a basic webcam with no lighting. Yeah. And using just like an ancient mod mic on a not very good USB audio card, because my Thunderbolt connection died, because Thunderbolt's a big piece of garbage, which is actually why I wired up my house with fiber optics for those USB extensions, which are way better.
I think just every excuse for everything now should be, that's why I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt sucks, and that's why I'm retiring.
So anyway, my Thunderbolt thing wasn't working, and that's what I used for my microphone. And so I had to go get this like little tiny dinky USB like combo unit and like a breakout cable to, and so like even for a mod mic, it wasn't sounding as good as it should. And there was like, so there were all these little things that I kept just kind of tweaking and tuning, and like, oh, maybe I'm gonna sit more like this, and I'd play around with like the tilt on my webcam and stuff like that.
I think a certain amount of that helped aid the like personability of the video.
It ended up being way worse than I expected. So it's funny, because I've been doing this for so long that I've become so numb to the numbers. You know, I upload a video and I go, oh yeah, that one did about 1.1 million. That's okay, I guess. You know, or oh, you know, that one was a banger. That one did 2 million views. Like, cool. But I don't really think about, because most of the videos that we upload, I guess, don't connect with people on a personal level, like don't really speak to, but they're not the same. I had literally hundreds of people, many of whom I haven't talked to in ages, just like reach out to me via every possible means. And I apologize that I have not been able to reply to all of them. And in fact, I probably won't be able to reply to all of them. The video has like, some stupid number. I think it has like 25,000 comments on it. And I've actually read a significant chunk of them, but not all of them. It gets a new comment on it still more than once a minute. And I streamed like 36 hours ago or whatever that works out to.
Currently at 2.7 million views publicly.
And the really uncomfortable part is like, I tend to keep the brand front facing, and I tend to keep the person sort of behind the scenes. And the thing that I felt, and this is, it's an analogy. I know it's not the same thing, but honestly, I felt kind of like a pornographic actor. Like, I felt like
very exposed.
Yeah, because when I was recording it, I was in a room by myself, and there was chat, but I was actually not looking at it. I was specifically not looking at it. I was just like looking at my notes, and I was just kind of trying to talk. Yeah. Just kind of put it out there. And what I realized, as people have been reaching out to me, like with everything from, hey, you know, do you want to grab lunch, or like, you know, hey, if you just want to talk, or like, hey, here's my life story, and here's how I, you know, tackled these things, and like just everything. And it's all like really positive, actually, shockingly positive. And I've even seen comments from people just being positive about how positive our community was, and just being surprised, because in general, the internet is such a cesspool. And what I realized is that there are people watching this that I wouldn't have shared these things with if I had specifically been in a room with them, and that now I have to go and sit in a room with them at some point, having basically effectively bawled my eyes out in front of them.
And this is probably going to be like a highly addressable topic for a while. On that note, though,
Yeah.
I would ask. I think a lot of the times when you air something like this,
Yeah.
to not shareholders in the sense of like stocks, but shareholders in terms of
stakeholders, even if they're not shareholders.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
When you do that, to a certain degree, it can feel like you finally lifted a bunch of weight. Does that feel accurate at all?
I feel better, yes.
Yeah.
I actually I felt better coming into work on Thursday morning than I have in a while.
Yeah, okay.
Just like, because, I mean, at least it's there. Like, there were people who knew already. There's a person who knew already. And there were people who had information. Like, I think you and I had a really good chat last year, like CES 2019.
Yeah, it wasn't 100% on nose, but it was like.
But like, I think
related.
you had some idea sort of where my headspace was at.
Yeah.
So now it's just out there. So it's like, okay, for better or for worse, that's where I'm at. And most people, at least here at the office, have been really good about it. Just been like, "You're fine, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Cool."
Yeah.
Nobody. Some people. I saw one comment. It's funny how the negative ones really stand out to you. I saw one comment about how highly inappropriate it was for an executive of a company to talk about something like this, in front of their staff. And I was like, here's the thing. You don't know my staff.
Yeah.
You don't know me. You don't know them.
And like Linus Media Group has become more corporate, but it's still very, very far from that.
Yeah, and it will never get there.
Yeah.
That is not my intention at all. The other thing is that there seemed to be some confusion around it. People were like, WTF is this? When the Oculus video went up like 12 hours later about the Quest, and it's just like me and Riley goofing around playing with like this VR headset, and people were like, WTF is this? This is such a tonal shift. You guys got to understand that when I live stream, that's happening now. And when you watch a video, that happened a while ago.
And to be fair, I mean, you almost undoubtedly filmed videos the next day, potentially the next morning. And
I filmed
probably
videos yesterday.
Fairly upbeat.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like most of the time when I'm filming videos, I wouldn't call it a persona, but I'm definitely aware that I am an on-screen talent and my job is to perform and do a good job of being an on-screen talent, because if I don't, I will get fired. Not in a literal sense, but like...
Yeah.
I will get fired by the audience. They'll be like, well, this guy sucks, so I'm going to go watch one of the other literal hundreds of other tech content creators online. I don't need this guy. Screw it. I'm out of here. And people don't want to, or at least this is my perception, and maybe I'm wrong, because I was watching the series that Shane Dawson did with Jeffree Star. That, as far as I could tell, was like a 6-week promotion of the makeup launch that they were obviously planning before they ever started creating that content. And I was just like trying to like, I didn't end up being able to watch much of it, unfortunately. And like massive respect for those guys and their teams, like everyone involved, massive respect to everyone involved with that for like the success that they've had, financially, influence-wise, fame-wise, all that good stuff. Yep. I don't get the content. I just don't understand it. And that's fine. I'm sure that they would watch what I do and go like, sorry, what is this?
Yeah, I was going to say, rather different categories.
Yeah, so that's fine. But so what I was about to say is my perception is people don't want to see like kind of mopey, like sort of downbeat stuff. So I tend to try to project that energy, but there were parts of that I was kind of skipping through that I was like, this is kind of like a downer. But it's like different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, watching it, I did not actually get that vibe.
Really?
I didn't get the downer vibe.
Oh, wait, with the Jeffree Star Shane Dawson thing?
Oh no. I didn't watch that.
Okay.
I'm in the same. I don't really get that content. Sorry, I thought you were talking about your stream.
Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like a downer.
You had like comments about situations where you were down.
I see.
But you were being open about it, and I don't personally take that as a downer, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like I wasn't like sad watching it. I think at multiple points in time, I think I was actually quite happy.
Right.
Because I think there's things that, and I mean, I've seen, like, personal life-wise, I've seen, like, Jorn and Vaughn's relationship, just from my angle, seems extremely strong right now.
Yeah, we're good.
And has seemed extremely strong for quite a while.
Yeah, we're good.
And I think that's really cool. And when you're like, I want to spend more time with my wife and kids, that doesn't make me sad.
Right.
That's like, oh, that's cool. Because, like, not to toot your horn, but I think you're a really awesome dad. So you being able to spend more time with your kids, being an awesome dad, is like, that's cool.
Well, thank you.
No problem. But, like, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
it didn't, like, yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, in general, don't be surprised and confused when the videos you watch that are a production and not just, like, me sharing my thoughts are designed for a broader audience.
Even outside of design, though, you can, like, be having those thoughts and those introspective, like, thinking sessions and stuff like that, and then also go be excited about VR.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be one-track mind all the time.
Right. And that's the other thing, too, is, like, I kind of expected, I expected the video to, like, do well in terms of the analytics. I didn't expect it to be closing in on, like, 3 million views within, like, 2 days. Yeah. I didn't expect to go home from work, come home from work the next day and have my in-laws, like, ask me about it. Like, I didn't expect to get, like, a message from my sister that's like, hey, I'm, like, sitting here sobbing my eyes out at my desk at work. Like, are you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, that wasn't the point.
Yeah, I will say I don't think...
Love you, boo-boo, but, like...
It didn't, like, make me sad, but I do think you made a lot of people cry. But I don't think those things are necessarily the same.
Okay. Well, at any rate, what do we got here?
Do you have additional comments now that you've seen... Like, before we get into the Q&A, is there anything you would want to add now that you've seen comments on the video? Because sometimes I feel that way about content. Like, it's
honestly, not really. I really did, like, I do feel like there's a load off my chest. I really did say everything that I had to say. So I just want to clarify that, no, I'm not retiring. Yes, it's because I still have work to do here. But the main point is just that I'm going to do it because I want to do it. I'm not going to do it because I feel like I am bound to it. I went through a period for a long time where I felt like I was doing this because I just had this ongoing responsibility to make sure that everyone under this roof keeps making their mortgage payments. And that's still there, obviously. I think that any honest entrepreneur with half of a soul, any obvious, like, business owner, I guess that's sort of a synonym, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyone with half a soul who is responsible for a team of people should feel that way. But I'm not going to let that dictate why I'm doing it anymore. And so if I were to ultimately make some kind of a decision, like if I was to say, okay, look, I'm going to step back to part-time, or I'm going to, whatever it ends up looking like, I'm just going to make sure that I'm putting my work into equipping the people here with the tools that they need to keep it going. And I think that the community's reaction has been really encouraging. I've seen a lot of people just say, like, hey, your team's awesome. We love them. So, like, yeah, you do you, and we'll make it work. I do think a lot of that is kind of like Hags. Remember Hags? People would write it in your yearbook.
Oh, yeah.
You know, have a great summer. Yeah. Like, we should totally get together. And then, like, it's totally meaningless. And
here's my cell number.
Yeah, you know.
That'll never happen.
That's it's not happening. Yeah. And the reality of it is our habits online are more algorithmically driven than ever before. And in spite of many of those people having the best intentions to keep up, they wouldn't. But it's still really nice to hear, even if I know that a lot of it is... and a lot of it probably is true, just to be very clear. But a lot of it is not. And not intentionally. So I actually don't really see any... So who's your favorite crosscode character? Oh, it's got to be... oh, man. How do you...
For reference, and I know I came in with some amount of pre-existing information, but I, at no point in time in that video, thought you were like immediately bailing because I noticed the specific wording of the title.
I was very careful not to clickbait it. Gotta be Emily. I love her. She's amazing. That's my favorite character. Turning LMG into a cooperative after retiring. I have no idea how a cooperative is structured. I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
Cooperative business model. What is this? It's an alternate business model which responds to the needs of all stakeholders, employees, customers, suppliers, local community, investors, future generations, as well as investors. That sounds like some pretty pie-in-the-sky bullcrap right there. So no idea. Okay. Wow, yeah, people don't really seem to have a lot of questions.
I think, like, there was articles posted and stuff like that, which were, like, clearly someone skimmed the video or watched the first 5 minutes.
Has no idea who I am.
Doesn't know, and just, like, wrote some stuff about, like, your stats and said you're retiring. But I think the community as a whole, like, actually watched it and gets it. And if you watch the whole thing, it's fairly conclusive.
Okay.
Like, I didn't really expect you were going to have additional comments when I asked about it.